Actually, we believe Ikepapalua, which is a duality of your knowledge. So what you were saying about how, like, if you take off the top, there's still the children, then you got to infiltrate in the children line, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you flip it on the other side, in order to infiltrate, like this is the main plan is like, hey, look at B, don't look at everything else that I'm doing,
Mm.
right? That's how Kamehameha got taken over.
What do you mean?
So if you really look at it, Kamehameha was, what is it called? He was guided, or he was he had these peoples around him that guided him and instructed him, and was like, hey, I'm going to give you these two cannons,
Mm.
right? So there's all of these things. Basically, long story short, if you want to take over a kingdom, get someone to do that for you, right? Unite the kingdom so that all we got to do is deal with one king.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
there's a long-term plan there.
Huge, long term.
Wow.
And so that's why part of me, I was like, okay, if we were so connected with God without the Christian infrastructure, we're so connected with God, I would agree with him for it to happen that way. Because look, you just got fooled, and not only that, at that time they were dealing with the starting of the Masons and the Illuminati stuff. Kalakaua was a Freemason.
What?
Yeah, a part of the Illuminati.
How would that even, like, so there was an ambassador of Illuminati that came to Hawaii?
This is all during the very beginnings, right? Coming out of Britain. And he was the one that circumnavigated the world.
Huh.
Yeah. Going through all of that process.
Wow.
You can see in some of the old photos of Kalakaua, or even during the time of, like you were saying about the children, there was a time where the Hawaiian children had to hold up the number one in schools. The number one meaning like there is only one language, American. There's only
English.
one, English, right? Yeah. And there's only one power, America.
Uh-huh.
And it was brainwashing, right?
Yeah.
That whole thing reminds you of Hitler. Like it's very real. So, but going back to Kalakaua and King Kamehameha, so in our own way, Kamehameha, and this is like, I don't know why I'm on your thing. I'm gonna share this. I haven't. My brother and I was like, we gotta do this. I was like, dude, I don't know what it is, but anyways.
Okay, let's go for it.
So Kamehameha, he was prophesied to take over all of the whole kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in order for him to do so, what he had to do was obtain this totem, or this ki'i, this tiki.
Mm-hmm.
And it was of the war god, Ku. And in doing so, you would dedicate all that you do for Ku. Now, some Christians may accumulate that to the devil. It is very much so reflectant of the devil's work. Very much so reflective.
To conquer?
Yeah. Yeah, to conquer without any remorse. No care in the world. But that's what this thing was for, right? This thing, it's a cool symbol. That cool of, and we have to also tread lightly on this, because that's also the perspective of a Haole that is telling this story.
Oh.
Yeah. Because they're the ones saying that we have 40 or 400,000 gods and goddesses, not us. Like, we know that there are multitudes, but we're not putting a number on them. We don't give them god and goddess labels, because that's English words, right? But anyways, so that, I feel, it was the start of the removal of the creator
Mm-hmm.
in Kamehameha's line. And then, but even though he's using that, right, for good, that's what he thought.
Mm.
Then, of course, they start to infiltrate, making the kings and queens sick,
Mm.
bringing the diseases. They start to manipulate from the chief system into the monarchy system, because once you do that, you have a flag. You're able to be lawfully conquered,
Mm.
right?
Because what you were saying before about like if there's all these different chiefdoms or whatever,
Yep.
like then you got to knock down one after another, and by the time you're over here, the first one is back organized, and,
Yep.
and it's just a huge mess. So it's easier to fight one big battle than it's ever
Yep.
50, 60 small battles all over the islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from a strategic military point of view, that makes a lot of sense.
So smart. So
Yeah.
smart. I mean, people who take over, they're very smart,
Mm-hmm.
right? So anyways, coming down to Kalakaua, Kalakaua was definitely influenced heavily by the Europeans, Britain, and that relationship.
So, just for my own clarity, so the Kalakaua, is that the son of Kamehameha?
No,
Or
so
that's-
Kalakaua is actually cousins.
Oh, cousins.
It goes Kamehameha 1 through 5, 1 through 4, 1 through 5, and then Kalakaua was the one that was what do you call elected?
Mm.
Yeah, elected into becoming a king.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Kalakaua was still a blood relative of Kamehameha?
Yeah, on the side, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it was Kalakaua's daughter that was the queen when the overthrow occurred?
Oh no,
That was way later.
Kalakaua's sister.
Sister. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it actually really happened rapidly. Kalakaua passed away. The sister assumed the role
Mhm.
because their niece was the next in line,
Okay.
and because she was underage, there had to be an adult in the
Mhm.
position. So that's how that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, and it happened super rapidly. But Kalakaua folks came into line because supposedly Kamehameha's line was all dead.
Mm. just because?
Oh, you know,
I mean,
Stephanitis,
disease and
yeah, all kinds of
I see.
diseases. Yeah, rat poison.
Oh,
It's a huge thing.
rat poison?
Rat poison.
You mean from the colonials? Or
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah. Um,
Mm.
We truly believe that our kings and queens were
Assassinated.
Were
basically?
assassinated. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense. They do it over there in United Kingdom, and
Right.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shitty, but it's the truth.
Yeah. And I think that acknowledging what the truth is a big part of that healing as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you know that something sinister is going on, but you try to pretend like it was unintentional, there's a part of you that will never actually let go because there's that hook of like, I'm not really forgiving because I don't really trust you.
Yeah. There's even one, and I like to bring these things up to let people know, like, I love who I am as a Kanaka Hawaii, but I understand that we had like real, for lack of better words, shitty leaders as well.
Yeah.
Like, they did a lot of good. Kamehameha did a lot of good, but facts are he was also one of those that sold our own Hawaiian people into slavery.
Mm.
Right out of Kealakekua Bay. Did a lot of bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
just in the conquering, there was a lot of killing.
Yeah, a lot of killing, just in the conquering, and then after that, we talk about the Illuminati stuff.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you want to put that kind of stuff on your.
Oh, well, we're already
Yeah.
going, so might as
Yeah.
well. But I'm surprised by. I mean, obviously, this is the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
But and I don't know much about the Illuminati history.
Yeah.
But you're saying that one of like someone in the Captain Cook like
Yeah.
team, were they intentionally going around trying to like bring in leaders into the.
I think you can. I think that can be true. I do know though that like on Kalakawa's shoot, just ran out of my head. It's like the emblem that represents his family, like the family crest.
Mm.
Is a Freemason symbol.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And around when would that have happened?
So when he became king around 1830s or 40s, but it's on all of his stuff. Like, yeah.
Wow, interesting.
And so, and it's, I'd say Illuminati because it came out of the Freemasons.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that that's around the times that they were coordinating things over there in Europe.
So I don't know like what their overall strategy would be, but if they had already infiltrated the ruling class, then why would they take them over then? Like if they've already infiltrated, to say, okay, now we've already got our foothold here, let's just let them be,
I truly believe the power move of starting from bringing in Christianity, it was a huge power move spiritually. Those who witness and know for like there's this Christian God, right? But even in Christianity, I truly believe that there is a miseducation and misunderstanding of who the real Allah, Buddha, creator is. Yeah. Misguided, and that's actually not misguided, it's intentionally misguiding us, right? So we break down all that construct. They seen our personal relationship with our creator. And it reflected the first missionaries. In the first missionaries' mind, this is me putting things together, okay? In the first missionaries' minds, it reflected on what the scribes, the scroll said, pre-King James Bible. Yeah. It reflected those things, what we were doing. The personal relationship with nature and God. That didn't sit well with them. Didn't sit well with the crown at the time, because that's power. Yeah. So from then, the interpretation, the control of the spiritual, the ritual, the religious, all of that stuff needed to happen because we were too powerful.
Interesting.
And it even goes down to Kalakaua because we're still powerful. That's why Hula was like banished. But then we were like, yeah, cool. In the light, that we're gonna go in these tunnels that y'all built.
Yeah,
they built them. Kalakaua and all his regime built these tunnels underneath. Underneath Oahu.
Oh,
yeah, underneath. Well, for what? To get our people out, sell our people. All that kind of stuff, dude. It's Yikes. Huge. It's huge. But yeah, it's just too powerful. And even hula, that's why they say hula is just a dance, and we let them say it because we know now of our power.
Yeah,
because we can heal our people through hula.
So it sounds like there's this slow growing, like reclaiming of power that is eventually going to balance the Hawaiian people with their history.
Yeah. And if only for me, if it only heals our people, if we are able to say, "Hey, come and we can heal you,"
Hmm.
um, that's a victory.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, with stuff like that, it seems like there's a certain, what do you say, like critical mass or like event horizon, meaning um, you don't need every single person to be exactly on the same page. You just need like 60% of the people, and then it kind of,
Yep. Topples
it's
over.
like,
Yep. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when you're undoing a knot,
Hmm.
you know, you work and you work and you work, it looks like no progress, then finally you get this one piece, and then the whole thing just unravels really quickly.
Yeah.
And so with that analogy in mind, where do you, how do you look at the current situation? Like how far along, or
Honestly, I'd say I'd hope that we're at 30%.
okay.
Yeah, I say that because even within the hula community, there is this facade that binds them to the 400,000 gods and goddesses.
Mm.
The words gods and goddesses, it binds them to that. They really buy into this religious part of it.
Because in Hawaiian it's Amakua.
Akua.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we have Akua, but
Oh.
Akua was defined by holidays as God,
Mm.
the Christian God. But we had Akua before them, so how
Mhm.
could it be the Christian God,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but if we take the word means to ignite, to have intention, and kua, and fire, it also means it's your back.
Mm.
All of those things that have intention to support your back, and not just your back, like holding some, but like your vertebrae, the muscles that
I
hold
need
it.
better posture.
Yeah, all that, like all that stuff that helps you sustain you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's your akua. So the air that we're breathing right now is akua.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now we have a name for this wind. This is Kehau.
Mm.
And then they go, "Oh, you're worshiping a goddess."
Uh-huh.
And because it sounds feminine, it's a goddess,
I see.
right? So that's where people get stuck into. And I love my hula brothers and sisters and the kumu that come before me. But I can't wait till we open up our minds and say, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
let's not allow English words to hold us into this box."
Mm. You know, what's interesting about that is like, even in the Christian, and I know for sure in Islam, there is the God, and then there's all these other divine beings that are not what you call God.
Yeah.
You know, you have your cherubs and your angels and your,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like there's jinn in Islam. I mean, there's all these other beings that are just non-physical intelligences that that are like categorically different from the single self.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it was just a lazy misunderstanding on the part of the first people to interact with Hawaiians to say, "Oh, there's like the wind god," and it's like, no, I mean they're just other beings of like non-physical. Well, they're physical, but they're represented by a non-physical intelligence, just like the Christians have. But instead of saying like, these are the angels of the wind and this is the angel
Right.
of various spirits,
No, because of intention, right? If they say angel, it's everything's good.
yeah,
But if you say God or goddess, it
Mm.
it allows them to say, "Hey, in this book, it says
one
you can
God.
have no other God
Yeah,
before me."
yeah.
That's how they control.
Mm.
They label it what goes against the book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at what you just said. There's all these angels and things like that, in their own Christian belief.
Mm.
And then they say you cannot have false idols, right? No tikis.
Mm.
But yet you got statues of Saint this and Saint that and Mother Mary and all of these huge
Right.
statues.
And the
cross, everything. All of these idols
Right.
around you. It's okay.
Yeah.
that you can't have. Why? Because it looks ugly? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the
It's a hypocrisy.
hypocrisy,
Yeah.
blatant blasphemy
Yeah.
was, I mean, to me, it amazes me, and it actually makes me like just bust out laughing.
Uh-huh.
When anyone brings that to me, I just like crack up. I'm like, look, don't ever talk to me about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's the naive um sheep woolen pull over the over their eyes kind of rhetoric that they're doing, right? To make them feel themselves feel powerful. Um, but I enjoy conversations like this who get it,
Yeah.
who understand it, and don't put us into that box. Yeah, because you do like everything, every every culture in the world has been infiltrated by that generation of Christianity.
Mm.
Christianity is a beautiful thing, but even in the Bible it says God hates religion.
Mm.
Like he's like, dude, don't build yourself a synagogue and start preaching and then telling the people that you gotta come to you in order to get to me. Like, no,
Yeah.
I tell you how to get to me through my son.
Yeah.
Come to me directly. Like,
yeah. It's interesting that so a lot of Hawaiians are Christian.
A lot of Hawaiians are Christian. Yes.
And how does that, like, is there a conflict there, or
Yes and no. So a lot of Hawaiians are Christians because we understood the thought of a monotheistic being, spirit, God.
Mm-hmm.
We understand that kind of religion, because that's what we came from as well. Um, so we started with one God. His name was Io, or Ikulani Ki'ilua, Ikulani Ike Oahi and Ena. Like he had these names that we weren't supposed to be uttering because of the reverence.
Mm-hmm.
So we called him Io, the hawk, the Hawaiian hawk. Then came Pa'ao. This would be maybe, I actually don't know the dates, but this is from Tahiti comes this Pa'ao chief, and he brings the thought of 400,000 gods and goddesses, the religion of sacrifice. He brings that, and he literally went and infiltrated and said, "Hey, if you don't follow me, I'm going to kill you." And he does. He does human sacrifices, children sacrifices. He does all of that stuff to gain the power for the religion. So there was that, but still there was this Io happening at the same time. That continued on and went into hiding. That is what the first missionaries came upon. Not the killing part of it, because that was all done by that time, but the 400,000 gods and goddesses. So when we saw or we heard of this Jesus, this God, monotheistic belief in the spirit of one God, we recognized it. We're like, hey, we have one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember this from before this generation of 400,000. Right? So because of that, there are those Hawaiians who are stuck in the 400,000 gods and goddesses who hate the Christians. There are those Hawaiians who are very much on the other side of the Christian walk who say, okay, we don't like the Hawaiian religion. And I hate that people call it the Hawaiian religion.
Wait, why?
Because I don't think it's a religion.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think what we do is a religion. It's like we just honor nature, spirit, and physicality at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they want to say, no, we have our own religion so that we can rebuttal against the Christian religion. I'm like, look, just say that it's not religion and they have no basis. Like they're telling you that you have a religion. Like we keep taking English words and holding them to against ourselves.
Yeah, you know that. So when I don't know, like the 60s, when a bunch of white folks went over to India and they were exposed to ideas that were not directly translated,
Yeah.
then they just kept the word, like
Yep.
yoga or karma.
Yeah.
You know, because we you know, English doesn't have those
Yep.
exact things. So it's too bad that that didn't happen, right? Because then it would be clear that the Akua was not the god, right?
Yep.
It's similar, arguably similar,
Yeah.
but it's different.
It would make more sense that he would be called it. You said Almakua.
Mm.
Yeah. And Akua. Yeah. Yeah. It would. There has been many Akua.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we wouldn't pigeonhole the supreme creator God into this word.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we give him a lot of things, like, and we thank them for directly for certain things
Mm-hmm.
and everything, and not just couple it all up and say thank you God.
Mm.
Yeah. So there is a friction within the Christian community, within the Hawaiian community, and then there are those of us who straddle the two.
Mm-hmm.
And even for me, because I had that battle within myself, talking to God, and like really, I mean, I just was like, look, okay, the Bible says you created me, but you created me as a Hawaiian who loves you, who has been taught by my parents to be Christian and loves you. Okay, like that's oil and water. Like, and you said that I was good, so how come all of the community says, okay, I'm too Hawaiian to be Christian and I'm too Christian to be Hawaiian?
Mm.
Like, I'm like, what the heck? Like, full eye coverage, like, what the hell, God? Like, what the hell? I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately he was like, who told you those things?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what do you mean? Who told me? He's like, who told you that you have to be one or the other? That it couldn't be this.